This episode is exclusively sponsored by CanWe. Get clear on what you and your date are looking for faster. CanWe is your expert guide on your dating journey. Check out the CanWe app in Apple's App Store or on Google Play. Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing why you can't stop thinking about your ex. I provide audio coaching to help people try and get their ex back or get a new girlfriend or boyfriend. Check out my website for more details: www.dateme.tips. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing why you can't stop thinking about your ex. So if you have been dumped, it's very natural to think about your ex, but why are they on your mind so much? In today's podcast, I'm going to explain 3 reasons why you can't stop thinking about your ex. So let's get straight into this. And number 1 is there is nothing more attractive than rejection. One of the most unfortunate things about the human experience is that there is nothing more attractive than rejection. When your former partner ended your relationship, you felt and still feel more attraction towards them than you did pre-breakup when you was in a relationship. So let's break this down a little bit and look back to when you and your ex was in a relationship. For 2 people to be in a romantic relationship, both people are feeling a high level of romantic emotional attraction for one another. Now, for various potential reasons, unfortunately, this attraction level dropped in your former partner's mind. And when your partner at that time lost that attraction, when it hit a certain low point, this is when they would have likely ended the relationship and acted upon and actioned the breakup. Now, at this stage, they are feeling a very low level of attraction, and you are still feeling attracted towards them. You didn't want the relationship to end. You didn't want the breakup to happen. So you are still feeling attraction towards them, but additional to this, you will then feel a boost of attraction. So you are feeling even more attracted to this person once they have dumped you in comparison to when you was in a relationship. And this is why it can be very, very challenging to get your ex out of your mind, because you are feeling incredibly attracted to them. You was in a relationship and you didn't want it to end. Therefore, you still felt a high level of romantic emotional attraction for this person. But then because of the breakup, when the breakup took place, you felt a boost of attraction, extra attraction. So you feel even more attracted towards them. And this is why it's so challenging to remove your ex from your mind. It's not impossible, and these feelings won't last forever, but at this moment in time, your ex occupies your thoughts almost 24/7. It is really difficult to imagine a time where you won't be thinking of your ex 24/7, but trust me when I say you will get to that point. You are currently in a bleak tunnel. It can feel scary. It can feel dark. It can feel bleak. It can feel like there is no light, there is no happiness around you at this time. But the only way to escape this bleak tunnel is to keep moving forward. If you keep moving forward, then you will eventually escape the tunnel and into the light of happiness. If you stand still, if you sit down, if you clock watch, if you don't move forward, then you will stay in this bleak tunnel, and your thoughts of your ex surrounding your mindset 24/7 will persist. So the key to getting your ex out of your mind is to move forward, to live your life, and to enjoy every single day. Now, this might be challenging for you right now, but you can still make the most of every day. You can see your friends, you can see your family, you can make new connections, you can go on dates, you can join classes, groups, clubs. You can familiarize yourself with new things which you've never experienced before. You can start to do things that you used to enjoy and didn't have time to recently. Get back into those old hobbies that you used to do when you were single before you even met your ex, and maybe you didn't have time to continue continue with them in a relationship, get back into them now whilst also trying new things. These are the ways to remove your ex from your mind 24/7. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast about why you can't stop thinking about your ex. And point number 2 is your ex will always be part of your life story. So we have a life story, and everybody who has been a part of our life story will always be part of our life story. And that goes for your ex as well. When we are part of somebody's life story in a romantic way, we will always be a huge part of that story. We will have chapters of their life story, of our life story, dedicated to that person. That is a romantic relationship. And hence, if you was romantic with somebody and they have ended the relationship and you're thinking, why can't I stop thinking about them? Well, it's partly due to the fact that they will always be part of your life story. And the triggers reminding you of this person will always exist. For example, the smell of an aftershave or a perfume, the sound of a song, a location that you visit. All of these things and more are possible triggers which can remind you of your ex. So if you are living your life to the full, you are still going to have moments where you think back to your ex because you will remember them due to triggers, due to the fact they were part of your life story, you were part of their life story. And it's very, very important that you remember that you shouldn't be ashamed of your life story. You know, your ex shouldn't be ashamed of their life story in regards to the people that was within it. You know, you can't change the past. You can only change the future. The past is the past. You was part of your ex's story. They was part of yours. And therefore you will remember them. So don't beat yourself up when you're thinking about your ex because you're reminded of them via a trigger. It's very natural. It's very understandable. So give yourself a break. Don't be ashamed that you can't get your ex out of your mind, especially when a breakup has recently taken place. The triggers will be everywhere. You will likely still have your ex's possessions in your house. If it was soon after the breakup, you will likely be interacting with people who knew you and your ex when you was together. You know, these are the type of things which can really bring your ex back into your mind, even if they have escaped it for a few minutes or hours. So don't beat yourself up, give yourself a break, and understand that because your ex is part of your life story, you will always remember them. And especially right now, soon after the breakup, they will be in your mind a lot of the time. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast about why you can't stop thinking about your ex. And point number 3 is they represent gaps in your life. So when a breakup takes place, there are many gaps in your life, both physical and emotional. Let's look at an example of where you and your ex shared a home together. Your ex has moved out. So not only are you suffering from the fact that you are no longer physically with your ex, but additionally, you will be looking around your house and no doubt finding things which belong to your ex. These could be photos, these could be objects. So if you see these things, they automatically make you think of your ex. And if you decide to remove them, place them in a box, keep them somewhere safe, give them back to your ex even, whatever you do, there are then gaps. So you will see gaps in your house, and the gaps themselves will remind you of your ex. So you've got to think of this as coming at you at all levels. The physical, emotional, romantic, all of these things, all of these gaps are affecting you. You are clearly no longer spending time with your ex, certainly not in a romantic way. There is a gap. There is also the gap when you was apart, but you would have been texting, you'd have been on the phone, you'd been doing video calls. If you were together, but maybe one of you works away, or even if it's just during the day where you're doing different things, you are going to be keeping in touch. And these are time gaps, which again need to be filled. So we are looking at all of these gaps in your life. And until you can fill all of these gaps, your ex will be on your mind. Your ex is the gaps. Your ex are the gaps. Your ex is representing all of these gaps in your life. So until you fill every single gap, whether it is the gap on the wall that used to have a photo, whether it is the gap in your living room, which used to be their possession, Whether it is the more obvious gap in your time that you are no longer spending with your ex, until you have filled these gaps, you're of course going to be thinking of your ex because they represent the gaps. So what you need to be doing is trying to fill the gaps, every single gap, slowly but surely, with new things, new experiences, as well as speaking to that old friend that maybe you've lost touch with, and all of the things with your friends, family, new experiences, old experiences. These are the things which can help fill your life, fill the gaps. And when you do these things, you won't think of your ex as often. But look, as I said in point number 2, they're part of your life story and you will always think of them. Don't be ashamed about that. It's very natural and it's very understandable. Whether you want to try to get your ex back or not, it can be very challenging, certainly soon after a breakup, to remove your ex from your thoughts. The more you can do to busy yourself, the more life you can live, the more experiences you can experience. These will all help in you thinking about your ex less. And whether you want them back or not, that is the right thing to do. Even if you want them back, thinking about them 24/7 is not going to help. And if you don't want them back, then of course, this won't help either. The only way forward is to move forward. So live your life to the full, and whatever you are hoping for regarding your ex, always remember that with or without your ex, you will have a positive future. If you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.
Yeah, if you miss your ex, we can help with that. Help you get him back, or we can help find you someone else. Yeah, Vincent Bo, the relationship coach, giving you some insight, bringing you a new approach. DateMe.tips, go and check the site, giving you advice, helping with your love life. Get your ex back, or move to the next. Ain't no sweat, you know Vincent Bo got you. Finding love ain't no problem. Yeah, DateMe.tips, check it out now.